All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Mind the Mental Monday. I'm glad to be with you tonight. I guess the creek didn't rise. So, y'all know every week I say, Lord willing, the creek don't rise. I'll see you next week. So, here I am. Glad to be here. As you all know, we are doing a series on embracing you. So, before we get started, just to give a little bit of time for my team to kind of get everything, all the information out. Put in the chat. Tell me how you're doing today and tell me what's one way that you embraced yourself today. And even if you're not watching this live, if you're watching this on YouTube or wherever you're watching it, put in the comments, let me know how you're doing and how one way that you embraced yourself today. So I hope everybody is good going on this embracing yourself journey. Um, in the last couple of weeks, I have had some guests on. The first week was my team, Minister Ebony and Joy, and we were just having a conversation about as women how we've gone through life and different ways that we've embraced ourselves or not, or how we've navigated life and all the challenges that we might have with embracing who we are. And then last week, I had a conversation with my daughters. Tonight, I'm super excited that I'm having a conversation with my bonus sons, who are just two wonderful young men, who agreed to sit and have a conversation with the old lady on a Monday night. And one of them is a fan of this other bird. What's that bird called? Norman, what is it? Eagle? Is that what it is?
Yeah, something like that.
Those other birds, it's not the purple bird is like the only like real bird in the NFL, but he's with this other that green, the other bird.
Mhm.
And he's kind of missing he's gonna miss the kickoff tonight. But I appreciate him being so gracious in putting me over his Eagles. So let's start out with both of you just introducing yourselves and letting the people know who you are and what you do, what you about. Who are you?
You want to rock paper scissors, Norman, or should I go ahead and go? I mean, we can go. I'll go ahead and go. I'll go ahead and go. I got you. So my name is Amir Braxton. Most may know me. I'm Jasmine's boyfriend. We have our two little bundles of joy, our little cannons of little women we have here in the house. What I do is I'm an audio engineer. I'm currently in school at Wilmington University for film and TV. And I'm really just happy to be here. I'm glad, mom finally, brought me on the podcast now. So, now I got something to talk about. But I'm definitely looking forward to tonight's conversation.
Mhm.
All right.
Um, I'm just let me know if y'all can't hear me all the time. My name is Norman Landis, um, godson of Reverend Pastor and Benita Weathers and Wayne Weathers. I work at the post office. That's really it. I just been on my self journey, really. So I'm really excited about this because this is new to me. So I'm excited to teach and learn about this subject.
All right. And also, what you all should also know, given that Veterans Day is coming up, that these are two Army veterans. They are two people who have helped to defend our country and our freedoms. And so kudos to you all for that. I gotta recognize you for that. And so yeah, I'm very excited about this conversation with y'all tonight. And Norman, don't go all nervous on me. I need you to just be your usual. The other thing too is that Norman is in a lot of pain right now, so uh, he's missing this Eagles kickoff, and he in pain, and he still decided to do this tonight. So
I
um,
must love
I
you.
just it's so. Got a lot of love for both of you. All right, so first, I just want to kick off this discussion tonight with just getting an understanding from the two of you of what does it mean to you to embrace yourself as young men? Either of you can start.
Mm,
For me, I feel like embracing myself is just really not ruly, but just putting yourself first, like choosing going down a road that benefits you. And then if people fits in, people fits in. If they don't, they don't. But it's more about I need to go down this road for me and I need to make these decisions for me to better myself. And then bettering myself and better people around me and my environment.
What about you, can I should I call you Brax or Amir? What you want to be called on here?
you call me either or. You're my mother, so it's fine.
Well, I'm gonna go with Brax because I got in trouble last
Oh,
time I called you Amir. So
nah, I was joking. Anyway, um, I definitely think that giving yourself grace is definitely, part of like taking care of
Mm,
yourself or like ensuring that you because you have to give yourself the benefit of the doubt. Um, Definitely there's times, especially, not just like men, but everybody, they beat themselves up and try is beating yourself up over stuff as if, or things that you can't change, and it becomes an innate nature that sometimes we forget that we can't change certain things and then we beat ourselves up about it. So I definitely say like um going easy on yourself, definitely.
mm.
That's your human.
Yeah, I like that. I think that you're right that that's something that we all need to do better, be better about is giving ourselves grace and recognizing that, we're not perfect, but we are perfectly imperfect.
Mm-hmm.
And just growing through those challenges with grace.
Mm-hmm.
So what is a time in your life where you may have felt like a pressure to try to be somebody else or try to be like somebody else? Or, what are things in your life, times in your life where you really haven't fully embraced who you are, and how did you get through that? And Norman, I'm sorry, there was a message that to talk for you to talk a little bit louder. So I don't know if you can get closer to your mic,
All
or
right.
maybe
Yeah,
put your
I got
volume
you.
up
I'm
or
sorry.
something.
My voice became hoarse lately, so I apologize.
Okay, no
Yeah.
worries.
Yeah, just
All right.
let me know. I can't see, so let me if I need to speak louder, just let me know at any time.
Okay.
Oh man.
um,
I'm gonna say I got you. I can start off Norm.
okay.
Um, ooh, I think it started at a young age, and I didn't think it didn't break until I was about, to be truthful, till I was about 28, 29 years old. So like um so I guess it's kind of like a little backstory. I guess like my definitely, my like growing up in a predominantly woman household, like a women led household, like a monarchy. I mean, excuse me, a matriarch. So like growing up
Hmm.
in a matriarch, like I grew up in the mindset like my mother always taught me like, like you could do anything you put your mind to. So throughout the years, you kind of embed that and then you start to, do everything and you kind of look for the accolades. And then once the accolades are not like kind of like received, and it's like you kind of like pretend to be somebody else to receive that actual like, hey, like, look at me. So I think
Hmm.
I did a lot of people pleasing and pretended to be like something other than myself for like a long period of time from like I think from like young age, like single digits, like young, maybe around 7, 8, 9 years old, all the way up until like I got out the military, where I found myself like really taking that kind of that inward look at myself and being like, you know what, like I think I'm perfectly fine just for myself. And if I'm not perfectly fine for no one else, I can die pretty happy behind that. So
Mm.
and I think yeah, it started at a real young age with me. So
So it's more not necessarily embracing yourself, but embracing who you thought would please everybody
mhm.
else.
or finally embracing like that little boy I hid from everybody. Like I'm finally
Mm,
like really like, like at first it was like wasn't cool to be goofy, it wasn't cool to be funny. Like I got picked on in school, I got teased and it was like it wasn't cool to be that. the funny kid all the time. So it's like, like I finally, like at age 28, 29 years old, I finally embrace like, hey, look, I'm a goofball. That's perfectly fine. If nobody else can rock with that, I can rock with it by myself. So and yeah, that's about it. Early age up to 29. And like now I'm just like Norman, I'm still on that journey of still, giving myself grace to embrace myself.
Mm. I don't see you as a goofball, but
I'm
anyway.
definitely see with these kids, man. I definitely am.
What about you, Norman?
You repeat the question?
Yeah, sure. So, what are some ways that you didn't maybe going back to your childhood, like where you didn't embrace yourself? What are some things that maybe you didn't embrace yourself about, and then how did you get through, push through that to where you are today?
Okay. Like I said, just let me know if I need to speak louder.
Mhm.
At a people that know me, this next comment, y'all not gonna believe that, but growing up, I'm very shy. I was a very shy person. See my face. I was a very shy person growing up. So it actually got to the point where at a young age too, I was thinking like I didn't how can I explain it? I was scared to do things or scared to talk to certain people. But then I had a friend and she told me, she was like, you gotta go get what you want or you'll never get it. And that would happen at a young, I think sixth grade. And ever since then, I just took off and like I opened up and I decided to say what I had to say what's on my mind and take the consequences as if they were, whether good or bad. And then growing up I kind of went backwards. Growing up I kind of went backwards. Like in my job, I couldn't really be myself. I couldn't really be that outspoken, too passionate person because I'm at work and they don't understand that my frustration is passion. They see it as aggression. But then I got to the point in my job where I was like, y'all gonna have to just see my passion as as it is. Whether y'all take it as a aggression or not, I'm gonna be myself because it was kind of killing me inside, holding
Mhm.
myself back. I decided to, you know what? It felt better for me whether somebody was didn't like what I said or liked what I said. It was more of I have to make myself feel better. I couldn't hold it in no more.
Mhm.
First time, I don't know if you remember this, mom. Senior year of high school, um, I had this one guy that had a problem with freshman year, senior year, and senior year. I know a lot of people don't know this. I lost my mom. Was that freshman?
Sophomore,
Going
just
into
before your
going
sophomore year.
going into sophomore year, I lost my mom.
Mhm.
So, and she always told me like you, Brax. My mom always told me you can be whatever you want. She told me she was proud of me. The last month she was before she passed, she kept telling me I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. So my senior year was rough, and I was once again holding back. A lot of people was like kind of pushing me to be a person I wasn't. So I got suspended because lashed out. And my grandma, she told me, I'm gonna move you to Philly if you don't open up. And I'm like, that's not fair. I'm not ready to open up. And it made me open up. Like, listen, I miss my mom. It's a lot going on. So ever since then, I learned to not hold stuff in because it's gonna explode. It's gonna explode, and it's
Mhm.
not fair to you or others because it might not. You don't know when you're gonna explode. So ever since that moment right there,
Mhm.
I was like, all right, I gotta let stuff out in a positive way so I don't affect myself and affect others.
Yeah. That's so important because that's what, when you just hold stuff in without having anywhere for it to go, um, you either going to explode on everybody else or you're going to implode on yourself. Either
Mhm.
way, it's not going to be good. So, finding ways to the name of my book is The Scream Within, and that's the part of the whole impetus of the book is that we have stuff that we just hold in and hold in. And if we don't find a way to scream out, it can be detrimental. And so that's really, key what you were saying. And it's interesting that you would say that you were that you were shy. Because I didn't know you in sixth grade, but when I came to know you, you reminded me so much of like Kevin Hart. Like you just had that, you're funny and and then you was always a practical joker too. So I wouldn't even see you as that. So seeing you, transition and then come into adulthood, a lot of times, in adulthood, you're that little person that the child inside is still there, right? No matter how old you get, that little person is still there, still battling some things from past situations that have happened, and all of it, has an impact on whether or not you embrace yourself. So when you think back to, and you've both touched on this, but when you think about back to like the environment in your household that you grew up in, what kind of impact did that have on whether or not you embraced yourself? What kind of impact did that have?
I think me and you actually spoke about this, Ma. I came, love, I lost my mom in 2023. But a bit about my background. I came, my it was a lot of isolation during my childhood. And then, like my mom, she had a substance dependent issue. So like I guess that environment, it kind of forced me I don't want to say like force me to have a high emotional intelligence, but it definitely forced me into a realm where I needed to like regulate my emotions. So I had to learn how to regulate my emotions. Um, and it's funny because me and my middle brother have this conversation, because they all grew up with my grandmother and my mother's side of the family. And at that time, when I moved to North Carolina, it was just me and my mom. And my mom was my mom was like the black sheep of out of her all of her sisters. So like that's the one that was beating everybody up, and she fought everybody, but she was also looked at kind of like the outcast. So like my family was worried about how my mental state, if I would like my mental state would like degrade, by being what is it, exposed to like that environment. But I think the environment forced me to like really tune my emotional intelligence and how to pick up on certain things. And I think that the environment helped me, but it also damaged me in the long run too, even now to this very day.
Mm. Um, Somebody's asking a question. How, wait, I'm sorry. How did you deal with that little boy that was inside of you? So let me hear from you, Norman. The question of like how your environment helped to shape you in what factors in your environment might have caused you to either embrace certain things about yourself or not. And then we'll go into this question that one of somebody who's listening asked.
My environment growing up it was okay. I had a mother that was raising kids by herself before she passed. I had a brother with a different father that didn't really embrace us, as in we have different fathers, so we're really not siblings until we grew up. So I kind of had that going on, like we're siblings. How do you feel like we're not siblings because we have different fathers? Then I was always solo, kind of in a way, by myself. I was always to myself. And even growing up, I still am to myself. But I had to, even now, like, I think that my environment caused me to have a lot of anxiety and depression, but also my environment growing up, moving in with mom and dad after my mom passed, Miss Benita and Mr. Wayne. Um, Mr. Wayne being so open about his anxiety and his depression helped me. Being around that helped me be like, oh, okay, as a black man, I can be open about depression and my anxiety and not be judged so much. Regardless, if we're still gonna be judged. So my environment kind of affected me as I am still want to be to myself, but I'm still when I don't have to be by myself, I'm more open about what I'm going through. If that
Mm,
makes sense.
hmm. Yeah, so how somebody once was asking, how did you deal with that little boy that was inside of you? And I don't know if that was geared toward Brax or both of you. But now that you're adults, how have you managed to deal with the little boy that still lives in you at sometimes?
He's still there. Yeah, still see him in the mirror. I still talk to him. I still pick up this PS5 controller and hand it to him. I still go downstairs and roll around with them little girls, just like I'm a little kid. I listen to him more because I realize, like, you know how they
Mm,
say, like, kids' intuition is purely pure. Like, like like all of the bad, like evil movies, they always attack kids because of their purity, right? And I think
mm,
because that kid in me, like it kind of it not only stayed pure, but like I listen to him now because that's like my first instinct or my first intuition. So like if I want to do something, like with school, with film school, I didn't waste any time doing it. Like the little kid in me was like, oh, camera, music, pick it up, let's do it. So like I kind of listen to him now, and it's just like, and 8 times out of 10, he's right, like all like most of the time. So like it's and then when I feel like I have to be an adult and think about things that actually have to have full thought through, that's when I take over. But like I sit down with that little kid every day and see him. So like and definitely think
mm.
also too. So
I like that you said you listen to him more, that you see him, because a lot of times in our culture, it used to be, well, when I was growing up, it was kind of, kids are to be seen and not heard.
mm,
And a lot of kids grow up not being seen, not being heard by adults, that were in their lives or taking care of them. And so you grow up sometimes feeling like, well, what I have to say or what I feel is not of value because I'm being told to not talk. I'm being told to be silent. I'm being told this is grown folks' business. Go over there.
mm,
Go in another room. Don't. Um, and so and then when you become an adult sometimes you don't really have the skills to speak for yourself sometimes because you weren't given that opportunity or it's taught it
mm,
growing up and you didn't necessarily feel listened to. And in order for anybody, if you were gonna want other people to listen to you, you got to learn how to listen to yourself and listen
mm.
to that inner voice. And so I feel like that's a real key point that you brought out there. How about you, Norman? What do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, Brax, I agree with you. Even though I just turned 29, so but I still like you said, I embrace it more because I feel like growing up, I had to grow up too fast.
Mm,
With so it's like I'm still growing, I'm still learning, I'm still that little boy. Just like you said, I'm embracing him more. I still watch cartoons. I still watch, the Jetsons and the old school cartoons, but because it's like finding your joy is finding that innocence you had back in the day as a child. So me to deal with him is to embrace that little boy, basically. Just embrace him, and like Brack said, you listen to him more, and that makes you grow in a way. If that makes sense.
what are some of the messages you hear from your little boy?
You
That's a
know,
good question.
what movie was it? I think me and Jazz always talk. Was it The Land Before Time? Is this water look safe? It looks questionable. That's the little boy that's inside of me all the time. It made me feel like, you sure you want to do that? I'd be like, I don't know. It look fun, don't it? And you'd be like, nah, that don't look fun. You don't want to do that. So yeah, like it's definitely times where like yeah, it's we have our conversations, and it sounds crazy, but it's like it's look, hold on, Norman. What Cat Williams says? I talk to myself. Myself said, That's exactly how you got to be. You got to ask that little boy that. So he stopped me at times. That's exactly how I deal with that. Like and the girls bring it out of me also. Like the girls really do it. So I think that's why they always intentionally mess with me because they want to see that little boy also. Because it's like you got dad and you got whatever that little kid is rolling down on that rug over there. We like him. We don't want dad. We
Hurting
want
your knees, right?
yeah, yeah, hurting my knees. Oh yeah.
What about you, Norman? What is it? What is when you had those conversations with little Norman? What does little Norman say to you? What are the messages you get from him?
He's just saying like sometimes he just say like, yo, we didn't get to do this, so let's do it. We didn't get to,
Oh,
like
stop right here. Stop right here.
yeah, like yo, like where are you going? Like it's like because you're adult now. I can't do this as an adult. Like what do you mean? I can watch cartoons as an adult. I can't. I still eat the Dunkaroos.
Why did I have a pack of those 2 nights ago?
You see, like it's like as a grown up, you're like, oh, I can't eat Dunkaroos because it's not gonna agree with my stomach in 2 days. But as a kid, like I only got to eat one. I can eat two now. Like just he's basically saying enjoy what you didn't get to enjoy.
Mm, enjoy
Mhm.
life.
I
Yeah.
got one gray hair in my beard already, man. I'm not stressing myself out no further, man.
Exactly.
So here's what I wanted to really talk to you, the two of you, about because I feel like from a woman's perspective, there are lots of things and reasons, things that we don't embrace about ourselves. Like we're constantly worried about like our appearance, our weight, how we're being perceived, and just all these things. And a lot of times, you know, it it doesn't seem to come up like that for men, but I believe that it does. But I think it comes up maybe in a different way for men than it does for women. And there's been so much discussion lately about like the whole like toxic masculinity, that people are feel like, or messages that, oh, in order to be a man, you've got to be like mean and spiteful and hateful and you know what I mean, just like me cruel to people, and cruelty that's being a man, like. So what what are the things in for men that come up around this topic of embracing you? What are some of the concerns? Like, what are the things that come up for you, for men, that you talk with in your circle, that they worry about, that they're concerned about in terms of embracing themselves?
Um, I guess for me it's a little different. Because I know I just heard Norman say he just turned 29, and it's funny because like I'm about to turn 38 next year. So like so I'm part of that generation where like our parents, like I'm from the young jock is going down, you know what I'm saying, era. So like I had the parents that taught like, hey, look, you go to school, go to college, you can't stay here if you're not doing anything. You know what I'm saying? So like I think a lot of my friends from like definitely my generation, the toxic masculinity came from like it's career driven. It's like materialistic driven. I think from my generation, it definitely has, and I think beyond my generation, it's gotten worse. So like everybody like in my class, like usually, guys that went to like NC State, went to Duke, Chapel Hill, Pembroke, and they all, they might end up senators or something like that. But they're, I think the talk is because of career wise where it becomes like the toxic masculinity. And I think honestly, most of them don't touch grass, like seriously.
Mm,
So
mm,
I think that's where it really like kind of originates from.
mm.
So I think if I'm explaining that right, I don't
Do
know. I
you
think
think deep inside they are that way because they really truly don't embrace who they really are,
they're
and
not
so
embracing
they.
that little kid. That little kid, they
Mm,
don't go back and talk to that little kid no more. They have completely forgotten that kid after the principal handed them that diploma and told them, "Look, you on your own." After that, I think they completely forgot about that little kid that screams out to him at times, and that's when I gotta have a career. I gotta have a nice car. I gotta be making six figures. I gotta have a nice house and get married, settle down by this certain age. And it's like I think those prerequisites we tried to struggle for, like especially my generation, like it made them grow gray hairs faster, and then they then forgot the kid that was in the mirror screaming to them.
Mm, mm. Interesting. What about you? What's your thoughts, Norm?
I I feel like men don't feel like we're supported enough.
Mm,
So that little kid brats that you talk about, we don't go back to go talk to, is because we don't feel supported. Like I just started we call it praise and football Sundays, where we some of us go up and go to church, and then after that we football Sundays, and it's just about us men getting together, and it's not about foot, it's not just about football, it's about getting comfortable with and out from inside the world that we're in. Like men can't, like the stereotype, men don't cry, men don't do this, men don't do that, but we don't feel supported enough to open up in the world. I mean, more we are a little bit now, but I feel like we are supposed to be a rock when sometimes we're a pebble.
mm.
We're supposed to be this all rough on the inside, but honestly, me myself, I'm a teddy bear. So, but they don't want to see that side. They don't want to see the teddy bear side. They want to see you're a man. They want to see you pay bills and stuff like that. But it's like men not supposed to struggle. Men can't cry. Men can't be sad. Men can't be um. Men gotta man up. Like and I feel like that's the bad thing about it. Like I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. The Cowboys player that just killed
Yeah.
himself 2 days after he made his first touchdown. Like I was thinking about like what you just made your first touchdown. How sad are you that I'm pretty sure you're getting so much love. Like you got your first touchdown. So I feel like he wasn't supported enough, or he had to be a man, so he couldn't open up and say how sad he really was. And a lot of men, I think a lot of men are so sad at the inside that they become numb. And when they become numb, that's when they just shut down.
Yeah, I mean, this is Men's Health Month, and one of the things that I always say on Mind the Mental Monday is that mental health is health. And I think that men are aren't supported in terms of their emotional well-being because they've been handed this sort of socialization really, which really comes from like a Western sort of way of thinking, of what the man is supposed to be and what the woman is supposed to be, ex ex instead of what the human actually is. And and so I think that because historically, it's we have lived in a patriarchal society. I feel like women, like so many programs and things have been created for women to come up in the world and feel supported and seen and all the things. But I think in some ways, it's kind of like we need to do both. Like it's usually in our culture, like either one gets some support while the other one support wanes, or vice versa. But both men and women need that same kind of support and grace and ability to just be who they authentically are, um, not based on, whether you're the breadwinner, all these different things that we are socialized to believe about what a man is, what a woman is. Um, but I feel like, men lately have kind of been boys, in particular, like have been kind of lost in that process. And as a result, they kind of turn to, people that are, like TikTok people that are, spouting terrible messages to them, and they're embracing that because they don't feel embraced
Mm.
by the people around them. And how do you, how do you embrace who you authentically are? Like, regardless of what the people around you might have to say about you, regardless of what's going on social media, what people might be saying on there, like as a man, what steps do you take to feel good about who you authentically are and stand on it and live in it?
Um, I definitely I don't want this to sound like I'm bragging, but it's like I take a step back and like I think about like what I've done thus far, and I kind of like tell myself like nobody has done this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just like how can I put it? Because I definitely was one of the people like that compared, used to go on Instagram and compare myself to, people like my friends, celebrities and stuff. And like, I haven't been that, I haven't done that yet. And I had to take a step back and like look at the things that I have done. You know,
Mm,
like they always tell us, Norman, we the 1%. You know what I'm saying? Like we the 1%. It's not too many people that got out there and raised their right hand. And I also did it during a time of war. That's something big to me that says about a lot about myself. That's the first thing I always tell myself is like, hey, you did something that everybody probably thought you was crazy for doing, which was going to the army at a time of war. And it's kind of after that, I think about everything I've done before. I have beautiful children. I have a beautiful girlfriend, smart. We do music. My children are talented. My family, my friends are all healthy. And it's like I kind of take that step back and just look and just be like, you know what? Like I can't compare my life to somebody else's because what I have right now, I'm blessed. I consider myself blessed.
mm,
Agreed,
awesome.
agreed. And basically, it's like you said, you gotta, in a way, not bragging. You gotta just see like you gotta look back and like I did that, I did that, and no matter how men not supposed to cry, I cry, and I don't care. You gotta be unapologetically you gotta be unapologetically you. You know, I have somewhat support groups where I have other black men that be like, yo, we can't open up about this. But when like Mr. Wayne has helped me so much to be so vocal about my anxiety and my depression and then what we do. So now when I'm out here just talking about it, like, yeah, man, today's not a good day. I'm depressed. They like, yo, me too. Like, oh, you go to therapy, yo, me too. So it's like most of the people that, and I don't know if y'all heard it earlier before we started. I told them to lock the doors. I have people over here now where we're just literally sitting here talking about how we're on a journey, and that journey is because we chose to be on that journey because we chose not to listen to the stereotype of we're not supposed to cry and we're supposed to be so strong. But if we're gonna be weak, we're gonna be weak together. So and we're gonna cry together because
Mm.
if we have that support, we're gonna get through it. Look back at it and be like, listen, we did that, we went through this, let's move forward.
One thing I hear in that is intentionality. Like you have sought out that kind of support with intention. How can you encourage other men who haven't gotten there yet, where they don't feel supported, but at the same time, sometimes it's that they haven't vocalized that they need support. If you're, showing up and appearing to be strong when you're not, and you don't, you don't, have that kind of support system, like how did you go about finding those supports? How did you, like, literally, how did you find the support groups that have been involved in?
Honestly, I don't think we went to go. Me personally, I didn't go find nothing. It found me. Like
Mm,
if I didn't move in with you and Mr. Wayne, I wouldn't have had a role model to be open about my anxiety and my depression. If don't
mm,
if my friend, his name is Ant. I work. if I wasn't open about my depression and my and me going to therapy, he wouldn't have opened up. I don't think you go find it. I think it finds you. And once you
Mm.
find something like it, be like it grabs you like, oh, I can be open. Oh, I can be me. I can, I can. So I don't think you go find it. I think you have to be comfortable enough, and to be comfortable enough, it has to hit you randomly. You have to just see it to believe it, basically.
And realize, hey, wait, I'm not by myself in this. It's other
Exactly.
people out here going through very similar things.
Exactly, exactly. I think for men, we have to and unfortunately we have to be able to see it to be like, okay, we can do it. As far as
Mm,
our mental, as far as our being open about our mental, because we can't just be open about our mental because we automatically gonna know we're gonna be judged. We're gonna be judged. We can't just say I'm sad, I want to cry today. Then you're gonna be like, men don't cry. But then if you see a man crying, you're like, oh, okay, so I can cry. It's okay to cry. So yeah, I think you just have to, for men, you have to see it and be
mm.
comfortable enough to do it yourself.
I think we you shared a lot. Some of the questions that I had, you both of you like actually touched on before I asked the questions. But there are sometimes there are internal barriers to embracing yourself, and then there are external barriers. And you've both kind of touched on some of some of both. But what go a little bit more in depth about what some of those internal and external barriers are for that make it really hard for men. I mean, I think Norman, what you were just saying is not seeing other men being vulnerable in admitting that they're getting help. Um, and I think about the men, the one you said that it has to find you. But what if it doesn't find you? Like, can you see a world where men who don't have the support will actually actively seek that support?
If it might sound bad, but I think if it didn't find us, we'll keep it inside, and then it gets to a point where so many men has fallen to their mental health, then it be realized like, oh, this is actually a problem. Let's fix it. Honestly, that's how I felt. That's how I feel about it. Like
What do you
it would have gotten to a point where it would have to be something bad that happened. Like so many men died this year of mental health to then it be realized. That's how I see it.
Well, the stats are already there that, more men, for example, die of suicide than women. More men are diagnosed with clinical mental health challenges. Um, so, the data are there. And I feel like at least now it's more acceptable for people. It, I'm going to say it's particularly in our culture, because before it was kind of like, I mean, it means you're crazy if you go see a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're slowly but surely waking up and opening our eyes to understand that that's not necessarily true. But Brax, can you think of ways that men who that don't get found can, take steps to get the help that they
Um,
need?
Honestly, you just said the answer right there. It's like you gotta what's the Bible verse? You gotta walk by faith and kind of like not by sight at all. Like the journey of 1,000 miles always starts with one step. So it's like whatever you do, whether it's looking for help, looking for toys, or looking for food at night, you always have to take the first step. You got to be willing to
Mhm.
take the first step. Because if you don't move, like I don't know, I've always told myself this is like it's something, especially like I learned in Afghanistan. If you don't move, you're gonna die. Like that's exactly
Mm,
how I've always felt. If you don't move, you're gonna die. So like you have to take that first step because if you don't, you're gonna stay stagnant and this is where you're gonna rot. This is exactly where you're gonna be. So
mm,
refuse to be in this last place or be in this place, the next 5 minutes, the next 5 years, or the next 5 millennium. I don't want to be here. So I want to continuously move forward. But in order to move forward, it's like you have to take that first step. Like, nobody can't make you do it. You have to do it. And once you take the first step, the second one becomes a lot easier. Then the third becomes a
mm,
lot easier, and so on and so forth.
I'm glad you said that because even like I said, even though I'll see another man cry, I still have to make that first step. Just because I see another man doing it doesn't mean I automatically feel comfortable doing it.
mhm,
Some men still see other men doing it like, oh, a man might say he's still soft. Instead, you still have to make that first step. You
mhm.
still have to. I'm glad you said that. You still have to make that, regardless of how often you see it. Like you could be comfortable enough to seeing it. You still have to make that first step yourself.
Yeah. And you have to recognize that there's a step that you need to take. Like that you need to take a step. Like you have to like recognize that there is something going on internally that you need to address. Because if you just go around just thinking that it's whatever it is just normal and you just go on with life, you won't maybe feel the need to take that first step.
And
So,
I think that we also get away from is like that is like the hardest thing is to just take that first step. Like I think that's the scariest part of everything, of every journey. I think the two scariest points of every journey is the first step and the very last one.
mm, say more
Mhm.
about that, especially that last step.
That last step is, yeah, it's because it's the fear of the unknown. It's the fear of the unknown was after this, and then it's the fear of the unknown what happens before this. So it's like you got to
Mhm.
take the first step. It's always the first step and the last step is always the scariest, but somebody got to do it. So
Why not you, right?
yeah, why not you? You might as well go ahead and do it. Why not?
Mhm. Exactly.
So for those for people like you, um, when do you like is do you find yourself and Norman, you've already talked about this, like do you intentionally then once you have gotten the courage to take the first step, do you intentionally try to encourage your brethren who need to take a step to do that? Do you walk side by side and say, "Hey, bruh, you need, I'll take the step with you," you know?
Hmm. Definitely, I,
Yeah.
I definitely do. Um, but you got to be careful doing that also too, because that also can play a part in your emotional, in an emotional imbalance also, because it's like we can try to help friends all day long, but if you don't want to take that first step, it's like I can't force you, and it's like at the same time, it's like when Norman said, I was the law of self-preservation. It's like I can only push you but so much, but I'm also not going to sap my energy trying to push you somewhere also. So like it's
Mm,
like, hey bro, we can do this together, or I can take a few steps in front of you and then show you, what I'm saying, you can just follow up on my six, but I can't sit here and wait for you. I can't push you. And it's like you just kind of got to do it yourself.
mm,
So I don't know. It's like you can have walk with your friends. I definitely
yeah,
suggest that because that's my first thing. But it's like, after three, hey brother, you kind of on your own on this one.
Mhm. Yeah. I agree with that. I just become more open. I just become more open with it. And then, if someone hears us talking about it, meet two men talking about mental health, and maybe they want to come over and be like, hey, what y'all talking about? Hey, I'm in therapy too. Cool. But if we're talking about it and we kind of see you, I'm like, hey, bro, you know what I'm saying? You can hop in the conversation too. No, I'm good. Okay. And then you just keep going. You can't, if you can't help someone that don't want to be helped.
yeah,
So and like Brack said, I'm not gonna waste my energy on something that you don't want to do because there's no point. There's no point. You can't force someone to be a Christian. You can't force someone to believe what you believe in. And I
mhm,
wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want that because you might push someone to somewhere where they wasn't trying to be anyway.
Right.
You know, I don't want to push you too far. Like, oh, he pushed me to open my mental, and then my therapist said I was crazy. So now, something like that. I encourage it, but I don't force it.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you can't force it. Well, you could, but it doesn't usually work because people, like you all said, they have to make up their minds for themselves
Mhm.
whether or not they want to take that step. Um, you both talked about earlier, you talked about the little boy speaking to you. So now I want to flip that and I want you to talk about now and at the stage that you're at now, what do you say back to that little boy inside of you about embracing himself?
Mm. Oh man. That's a good question because honestly, I don't know if it's just like me just being reckless, but I haven't said anything to stop this little kid lately. I mean, I don't know. I don't think
Yeah.
I've been stopping him lately, man. He's been on a good accord. Like it's been good about things. Like definitely no, you are right. I bought a big bag of like gummy worms the other day, and I'm trying to watch like my sugar. So I'm like, you know what? I really want this bag of gummy worms. And your granddaughter took my gummy worms and dumped them inside the bowl and took them upstairs. And so that little kid in me was like, you know what? That's probably what you get for leaving them there like that. So, like, so, at them times, it's like what I tell my little self is like, you know what? You absolutely right. You are absolutely right. So instead of getting mad or finding myself, and this is especially with the kids, especially like with Cairo all over the house. So instead of
Hmm.
getting frustrated, the little kid talks to me, and I talk to my little kid and myself. This is like my little kid, the little kid in me is like, hey, you was doing that, jumping in and out of the freezer, yanking juice out of the fridge. It was like you kind of calm down. So like lately, my conversation with the little kid or saying back to him, that just sounded like somebody fell. But the little kid in me just said, like take it easy, and I respond back to him like, you know what, I once was a kid, and I'm going to follow your lead. So that's pretty much what I've been telling him. I'm going to follow his lead on some things.
Okay. All right. And no special advice.
Um,
Like,
that would
hey
be
kid, when you get to this age,
I think he watches me too much to even want to take my advice because
Mhm.
yeah, I think the little kid in me watched too much of me through my eyes as an adult to be like, you know what? I seen what you did there when you was 25. I don't think I want to do that again. So you got that, buddy. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good question. I think I just tell that little boy, like, you tell him that maybe you tell him it gets easier, regardless of being a little kid, and it gets harder and it gets easier. So you're not always gonna you kind of tell him like, listen, you're not always going to be able to eat food for free.
mm,
You're not going to be able to live for free,
ooh, that
and
part.
and then he talks back to you like, why? And then you got to explain to him like, you got to grow up one day, but in the same time, that it's like, I get it. We're talking to the little person, to the big person, but we still got to remember it's the same person. It's the same
Hmm.
person at the end of the
Mhm.
day. So we're still the same person. So we kind of tell him like, in a way, like, I know that's a really good question. You got you got you got to kind of tell him like, listen, we're still here. We're still here. It gets better or it gets worse. You just gotta explain to him like, I know I'm all over the place because it's a really good question. I'm trying to explain it.
You on
Take
it.
your
You
time.
you
Take
definitely
your
on it.
time.
um, you basically just tell him, we got it. We did it. Because I know sometimes that little kid, like, you
He'll
you
get
don't never
impatient.
see it. Yeah, you never see
Mhm,
when
that little kid in you get real impatient. You gotta kind of tell them like, hey man,
some
look, just sit
relax.
down,
You gotta relax.
relax. We got it. Like,
Thank you. See, thank
mhm,
you.
I got you. Yeah, I definitely understand it. I got you.
You see, we had two little kids on the playground. Listen, it's okay. You can slide. I'll help you.
Oh, oh,
He was
like,
saying
yeah,
it's
just
not
hold
gonna
on.
hurt. Thank you. See, I thank you. See, I'm gonna share my crayons with you on recess. We got
Yeah, like, yeah, I got some candy for you later. Just hold on. Just hold on. Just wait a minute.
it. But yeah,
See, this is the separation in the from the between y'all in the conversation with the girls because y'all done gone to video games and gummy worms and and y'all done gone to the playground. The girls ain't do none of that.
mhm.
So, what would you tell the next generation? Like how do you hope that your authenticity, this journey that you've taken and maybe continue to take to embrace yourself, how do you hope that it impacts the next generation?
Um, man, that's another good one too, mom. Definitely thinking in the mindset, especially when I think about the girls. I definitely, along with just having grace with yourself, is just um believing in yourself and not being afraid to like fail.
Mm,
Like no matter what you do, like I think that what is it? I think perseverance kind of trumps a lot of like attributes and characteristics. Cause like when you can get back up each and every time and just keep trying to do it, I think that like sends a message to a lot of people. So I think for like the next generation, especially for the girls, like believing yourself, have faith in yourself, but don't be afraid to fail because
mhm,
just fail. Like go and fail on purpose just to see the outcome of what happens so that way you can avoid that. Don't be afraid. Don't run from failure. Run to it.
mhm. And learn the lessons from it.
Yeah, learn from it because that's
Yeah.
what everybody else is afraid of. I feel like 96% of people are afraid. They see failure and they'll run the opposite way when it's like maybe that last little 5 to 6% is like, all right, let's see what this is about. Like, so you
Right.
got to see what this is about in order to see what the next thing you can do because it can also help you in the next stage. So that's the only advice I would like to pass on to them and also, definitely those gremlins in there too. So.
Hey, watch you watch your mouth on my baby babies.
Mhm.
um, I want to pass on. Be comfortable. Be comfortable. Be comfortable. Like so many people, you get so uncomfortable being out in the world that you forget who you are. Be
Mhm,
comfortable. Just be comfortable. Like my brother Brack said, like just it's okay to fail. And even if you gotta fall and you gotta crawl, it's okay to crawl. Some people be like, oh, I don't want to continue because I can't walk to my next goal. I gotta crawl to it. So what? Maybe crawling to it, you might find a penny on the ground that you might not seen that you was walking. So
mm.
comfortable. Be comfortable.
Ooh,
I
can I add
like
another
it.
piece of advice, Mom?
Yeah, please.
Uh, oh, another thing, read. Read a book.
Mm,
Read a book.
mm.
God, Lord bless my mother's heart. I miss her. She used to tell me all the time, read a book. Like you
Mhm,
find so much invaluable knowledge in just reading. Even if it's reading the nutritional facts on the side of a cereal box, just read it.
yeah.
You'll find out what yellow five is, and you'll know it's just random stuff. Like I just say, like read. I definitely think that for the younger generation, for advice, read everything.
Mm,
Read.
Yeah,
I like it.
yeah. And keep trying. Just try. Don't
Right.
like, what I'm saying, just be like, I like poetry. So, but I can't always motivate myself to write a whole poem. So thank you. I can't always motivate myself. So I know I want my generation is just like I tried it once, I'm good. Just because you
Mhm.
tried it once don't mean you're not gonna be good at it. Keep trying. Be comfortable and keep trying. If you want to if you want to do something, try it. Why not? I'm not no Maya Angelou, but I like
Yeah.
my poems, so
Yeah.
you know. I'm comfortable with my poem, so I'm comfortable trying. So just be comfortable and try.
I can't wait till our spoken word night at the church. So to hear some of your poems. Looking forward
Not
to it.
ready yet.
You had to bring them bongos from the house.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the last thing I want you to do before we wrap up. I want you to finish this sentence. When I fully embrace me, I what?
Laugh,
When I
laugh.
fully embrace me, I laugh. Okay.
laugh. I'm
You did
funny.
refer to yourself as a goofball.
I do because I laugh. I crack myself up every time. And then I see these little two people that do the same thing I do, and they be like, yep, that just reassures that I'm a goofball. Just pass it on to
Exactly.
them. Have it on
Exactly.
them now.
Exactly.
They're
When
goof
I
nuggets
fully embrace me, I smile because
Mm,
you just even looking in the mirror. Sometimes I'll be sitting here just thinking, and I'm like, wow, like you did it. You did it. Sometimes they say you're your own worst critic. You also your best. Your best supporter sometimes too. You know.
mm.
now. Definitely, sir.
Yeah.
You say
Yeah.
you're your own worst critic, but sometimes you're your best
Best
supporter.
supporter. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I
You can
like
take
it. I
you
like
can quote
flipping
them.
it like that. I
Yeah.
do. That's
Yeah.
that's encouraging. Well, this has been a really great conversation. It's like it feels like the hour was short, but it was well spent. And we're gonna let you get to your game, Norm.
God, this is
But is there any closing words that you want to say before we wrap up?
um still I want to reiterate, be comfortable and try. Be comfortable and try. Because
Okay,
if I wasn't comfortable and I didn't try new things, I wouldn't be where I'm at now.
very good. You got any lasting things, Brax?
Yep. Fail. Fail and be proud. Don't fail, be proud, try it again. That's
Yeah.
all you gotta do.
Proud.
Keep
Proud
trying.
is good. Be proud is very good. Yes. Because some people fail and they don't and they fail and they sit in their failure. Don't be you fail and be proud of yourself
What
that
what
you
they
try.
say? What Tom Edison made? What is it? That 9,999th light bulb. He failed up to that last one, and 10,000 he got it right. So yeah, just
Got it
fail.
right.
Well, we gotta
Keep
that
failing. Be proud.
10,000th time is because of that black man that created the
Yeah,
filament
exactly.
to
He went
go
and
in
hired
the
that
bulb.
black man. He got tired. Got tired. He
Yes.
took
Gotta
that first
remember.
step. He took that first step. He was like, all right, you know what? Everybody else ain't doing it. I might as well do it. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate y'all. And I have a feeling this is not gonna be the last time y'all are gonna be on Monumental Monday. I'm just saying. I
no,
might be
no,
calling y'all, hitting y'all up again at some point. But
Listen, Brax,
really
I go to the playground with Brax anytime he wants.
no.
Well, thank you everybody for tuning in to Mind the Mental Monday. Don't forget to go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. And also subscribe to my blog post on at benitaweathers.com. Um, and you'll see other things on my website about things that I do. So thank you, and we're looking forward to coming back next Monday, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. All right, have a good night. God bless everybody. Bye.
Good night.